Alright, here's the gear and the talents. Plus 12, Plaguefall. And the affixes are Tyrannical, Bolstering, Necrotic, Prideful. Start off with this bad guy. We're gonna always assume that these fungi storms are gonna go through, so I'm just gonna immediately kind of radiance and pop cooldowns. Mage is still at the spawn. Using whatever we got here, really. And we're always just pouring as much damage as we can into the giant, because he's gonna get bolstered the most since people aren't probably gonna focus him very hard. And just if we're cleaving, then it's gonna naturally die last. And the mage there didn't really help, but that wasn't that bad of a first pull. And then in these packs, we're just focusing whatever's highest HP. This pull's actually insane, so we're gonna paints up the tank. And then we need to heal through these fungi storms, so I'm going to drop barrier here because just in case we don't end up interrupting it. Throw another radiance out just in case, just to keep these entombments rolling. That way if fungi storm starts going through, we're ready to deal with it. Mage can't spell steal all of these, so I'm just going to mass the spell so the fungi storm doesn't hurt super bad. And then we're just switching to the highest health target. There we go. Got a little dicey, but that's okay. Here we can use Mind Seer, and then if we see one that's like higher health than the rest, like this one, I can use like Mind Blast Penance and then go back to Mind Searing. And now that it's way higher health than everything else, I can just single target it with smites. Drop another radiance. I hit that a little too soon with my dot. That's okay, we'll just run it back into the tank, he'll get aggro. And then we'll radiance into a Mind Seer. And then we're just using another radiance charge here just to kind of top everybody off. We're not in a hurry to top people off. I'm gonna grip him out of that. I didn't know if he was in or not. Looked like he was gonna get hit by it. And then we'll fear these. And then we're just gonna save Mindbender for the Prideful. Let me just fear these again. I missed one. Should be okay.
You think yourself exceptional, gifted, but you will learn.
For Prideful, we're gonna start with like no atonements and just do a little bit of damage with Mind Blast and Penance. And then we'll Trinket and Radiance. I just have a little increase your intellect trinket if I stand on the ground right here in this red stuff. And then we'll Shadow in the tank to kind of even them out with the rest of the party, and then Radiance, Mind Blast, we'll drop our Mindbender, and we'll use Penance. And then if I need to do more healing than this, I would have another Radiance charge right now, or I could Power Infusion myself. So I'll Power Infuse here, I'll Radiance, kind of just Power Infusing for damage really. And then we're going to make sure we get knocked the right way. We'll Goblin jump back in. Just Shadow Mend anybody that's not like 75% HP. Get out of the way. And see, I'm not applying atonements yet to these guys because I can just use Radiance. Like right now I have Radiance up, so I just Radiance and then heal through this. rather than sitting there spamming Shadow Mend on each individual player, I can just contribute damage and then just heal everybody when my Radiance is back up. Same thing here, I'm not going to heal the Mage, because I can just wait till Radiance is up. So now I have Radiance up, I can Radiance because Plague Stomp is coming. And then I should be helping kill these pretty much, because we're not killing them or CCing very well. The big one's actually not being CC'd, which this is not good at all. Yeah, that's a nasty slime wave too. Okay, we can recover from this. Just gonna use Radiance on the party. We drop Mind Blast or Mind Games. Cleanse ourselves. Shield anybody that's low. Watch for the wave. I could use Rapture here, but I really want to do damage rather than pressing Rapture, because the faster this thing dies, the less problems we run into. Or the less continued problems. So that was a little risky, but... And then again, I'm not like sitting here spamming Shadow Mend to get everybody up before the next pull. I'm literally just gonna press Radiance. Thanks for the follow. I'm press Radiance, and then I'm just gonna go into doing damage here. Spell tank. And when the atonements are gone and we need to heal again, like if I really want to top these players off, which I really don't need to, but I can just press Radiance, Mind Games, Mind Bender. We'll Paints up the tank because we pulled the Plague Rock. I don't know if that was intentional, I hope it wasn't. This Plague Rock's gonna absolutely smack. We'll step on like one of these, we don't want to step on all of them. Again, we can just Radiance to put Atonement on myself, the tank, and the monk. And then we can Defensive Penance here, which means using it on the tank himself. And now we can go ahead and spam Rapture Shields. If he kept those Necrotic stacks, it actually wouldn't be very useful, but luckily he dropped his stacks like right as I decided to do it. And we're just going to cleanse him every time. We'll throw another Shadow Mend out, and then we'll follow it up with a shield just to kind of keep him topped off. And we'll finish killing this. Ask for Mage Food because we didn't pick it up at the start. Now this red slime, if it doesn't get interrupted, it actually hurts a lot. So I'm just going to throw shields out on the group, so I'm going to assume it's not going to get interrupted. The first cast in it. Second casted. It looks like we're fine. But it's just kind of like a precaution. Pick up some Mage Food. And I'll start drinking just to get a little bit of mana, because we're going to have Prideful here shortly. We'll shield, Defensive Penance. And then we can kind of spam a little bit of Shadow Mend in the tank, follow up with another shield. Every time you can, you should always Shadow Mend into a shield rather than just spam Shadow Mend. Alternate, like there, I'm pressing shield right after the Shadow Mend, because it just adds a little bit of extra HP to him. And it essentially like puts it on the same global, so it's a lot better than spamming like 2 Shadow Mends, for instance, unless you absolutely have to. So go the other way. And here I'm only like, when there's a pack of 3 like that, I only dot 2 mobs up, because the third mob will just get the dot from when I press Penance on one of these guys, because it'll spread the Purge the Wicked dot. So you don't actually have to dot everything. And like here I'm not going to refresh my dot because this is just going to die obviously. You should only refresh your dot if like the majority of the dot is going to be on for, you know, before the target dies. And here again, we're going to do a little bit of damage. We don't really need to heal, so I'll pop my Trinket, and then when I want to start healing, I press Radiance, I press Mindbender, I'll press Mind Games, I'll press Penance. And I should be using Power Infusion more, like just consistently, even if it's on myself or a DPS. So we'll try to do that on like the next ball. I'll throw it on a DPS randomly. We'll give it to the monk. Seems like they're doing the most damage. Throw it on the monk here. It's not that useful, but
More test subjects. Unleash the plague borders.
If I want to top off the group for whatever reason, I can literally just throw a Radiance out and then they're topped off. Like, I don't have to use Shadow Mend to individually heal them. Shadow Mend is much more of like an emergency type of heal. Even there, I used it on the tank and it was completely unnecessary. I just thought he was going to take the claws a little bit sooner. Throw shield on the tank, do some damage. You can just use Mind Games here for damage as well. A lot of our spells we're just using for damage the majority of the time. And healing just is like a secondary thought until we actually need to do it. Oh my gosh, I almost stepped in those, I didn't see them. That was close. And we have some people with dots, so we just throw out Radiance. Boom, everybody has Atonement. We don't even have to think about healing, we're just pressing Smite and healing the tank. And everybody else is just staying topped off because of that. Here again, we just Radiance. Whenever I start dotting a pack early like that, if he pulls and he's kind of kiting it away so he doesn't hold very much aggro, I always make sure I fade like right after my first or second dot application. Everyone got hit by the debuff, the melee debuff here, so I'm just mass dispelling it and then using Radiance, and that's just gonna naturally top off the group. Like right here, I'm just spamming Smite. Like I don't need to top off the monk completely right this second. You know, not everybody has to be at full HP all the time, and that's something you'll just learn over time, is like where you can kind of get away with being okay that people aren't full HP. Here again, we just go in with a Radiance. We can use Mindbender here, we can use Mind Games here. And then tank needs a little bit of extra, so we can throw like a Shadow Mend and a shield. We'll Power Infusion the monk again, because we'll just try to start doing that as like a good habit. Dispel the tank, reapply Atonement on the tank with the Shadow Mend shield. Don't need to heal myself, so I'm not going to worry about it. We want to top off the group, so we just Radiance and we go into our damage. And then here, like, the Druid got hit by something, so sure, we can throw a Shadow Meld on him. Or Shadow Mend. I keep saying Shadow Meld. Throw an Atonement on the tank with the shield. You Mind Games, you Mind Blast. We're gonna save the Mindbender for the Prideful. Even though it's not super necessary, but it does help a lot. We also, Mindbender's another cooldown where, like, if you're gonna take Mindbender over Power Word Solace, you should really just use Mindbender almost on cooldown as much as possible. Because it's such a low cooldown that you just have it up all the time. So like here I throw out Mindbender. We'll pop our Trinket for the extra intellect, so once we know we can kind of like plant and stand still. And then once I want to start healing, I just Radiance and go into damage. And, you know, if like the mage starts freaking me out, like I want to top him off, I just throw out a Shadow Mend and then another Radiance. Everyone's got a refresh on their atonements. And then here, if I start getting worried, I could use like Rapture spam and just start spamming shields on everybody. But we know that we're going to kill it in time, so we don't need to top everybody off. And then once this new Radiance charges up, I can just Radiance again. When the boss starts, I can put my dot on the boss, I can Mind Games, I can Mind Blast, and everyone's already like full HP right there. Power Infusion the monk, refresh Atonement on the tank, get ready to dispel him. Follow the boss here. And then we can just Radiance again, because everyone kind of gets that little dot when they run over. And then we'll Mindbender this little ad and help kill it. We'll dodge the lines. I messed up my dispel, so I just pain soaked the tank. I should have pain soaked him a little bit sooner. And follow the boss again. And then when we get over here, same thing. We just radiant, we'll pop our trinket, and we'll do some damage. Move out of that. Missed the dodge a little bit. I should have just got farther away. I got a little greedy. You mass dispel the tank since we don't have a regular dispel up right now. And then we can just go step on this ooze while we're penancing. That radiance was completely unnecessary, really. I didn't need to press that. I should have just kept myself. I didn't need an atonement on myself, so I should have just refreshed on the tank. And then we'll just Mindbender again because, I mean, it's gonna be. We're gonna have to run over to the next pack anyways. And then here, like, things are getting a little dicey, so we throw out a Radiance, and then we just do our thing. And I can just shadow in the monk back up before we leave. I was gonna Radiance there, but we're actually not. We'll just Power Infusion the monk, do some damage. I don't know where we're going next, so usually I'd save Power Infusion for like this big pull in the middle if we end up doing it. But I don't know if that's like where we're going, so I'm just gonna use it now. Just so we kill stuff faster. We're going there. We're gonna run in, same idea. We throw out Radiance. And here's where you can get a good use of barrier, because there's going to be like a lot of kind of random damage happening. So we'll just throw down barrier in a random spot by melee, and if they stand in it, they stand in it. If they don't, it's not the end of the world. Well, mind games. Just using mind games for damage. King's got a pretty good route for a plus 12 pug. And I think all these guys, their IO's like right around where they've timed like 12s and 13s at most. It's not bad. We'll AoE fear these. Okay, they had leg sweep, so I didn't need to do that. Fear is like a last resort thing. I can actually shackle and dead this, so I can just always interrupt those. Just pain something myself because I don't know what I have aggro on and what I don't have. Shackle Undead this bulwark again. And then we'll just Radiance, we'll Mind Game, we'll Mind Bender. Because we're not getting Prideful until the next pack is dead. So it's safe to Mind Bender here because it'll be back up by the time I need it. And hopefully that stealth thing doesn't pull that pack. I don't think it will count. And then we Radiance, and then we kind of play catch up here. And again, if I'm worried about the mage or I'm worried about the tank, which I'm not, but if I am, I just shadow him in once, and we're done. And I'll have to, you know, panic about it. Took a little bit of damage, so we'll just Radiance. Use Power Infusion on the monk like we planned. Just let them interrupt these. And we're gonna get the defender when he does the bulwark, if he casts it. I think that leg sweep might have interrupted it already. We'll still just keep them targeted just to watch it. And then we Radiance, there's the bulwark, so we shackle. I think we get a reset. Start with dots, start with damage. We don't need to heal right now. And this time I only have one Radiance charge instead of two. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pop my trinket, I'm gonna Mind Games, Mind Bender, Penance, and then I'm gonna go into Rapture. So I Rapture, and I'm just shielding everybody first, just once. and then I'm shielding like whoever's shield is starting to fall off, or just people that aren't full HP. Rapture's over, I have my new Radiance charge back up, so I Radiance, and then I'm just doing this again.
You will not stop me.
This boss, we just need to watch AoE heals when the phase happens, and we just need to hope that our tank dispels himself with the poison debuff. So we're essentially saving Radiance charge, and we can put a shield on each person that has this, so when they run out they just take less damage. And then as soon as these ads all spawn, we should be using a Radiance charge just to get everybody an atonement. And then we'll Mind Games, we'll Mind Blast. And then we still have the dot on everybody, so we can Radiance again. We shield the Druid because he has the debuff. And then I'll Mindbender here. Put Refresh Atonement on the tank with a Men Shield. And we'll Radiance here again a little bit early. Throw Power Infusion on the Monk so we kill stuff faster. And then we're gonna stay out here. Shield myself. We'll Health Pot. And we're running back in. We might not make it in time. Okay, we did. I could have gripped somebody to me just to be safer, but... And then we'll Shadowman myself to kind of pick myself back up. Shadowman myself again. We can Penance the Monk. We didn't put on a shield. Mind Games, Mind Blast. And then for this one we can Rapture. So I Rapture, it's just like the Prideful. I'm just putting shield on everybody. And then I'm putting shields on whoever, you know, whoever shields are falling off. And then I Radiance again, just to keep us all topped off for the end of the fight. And there we go. We're gonna go pull this stuff over here. Mass Dispel that again, because everyone's stacked up for the debuff. Can use my Mindbender here, because there's not really anywhere else to use it, so we're just going to kind of use it for damage. Could use it in this room down here, but... We won't worry about putting our dots on all these little guys, because they're going to die so fast anyways, so we'll just put dots on like the big guys and the mini-boss, and then just let our penance kind of spread our dots besides that. Oh yeah, these like all bolster. We're gonna use Rapture here just because all this shit's bolstered, so if it auto attacks the tank once, he's just dead. So we're just spamming shield on, because you can see them just like insta-eating the shield. And then when our Rapture's expired, we just penance him. Throw another shield as soon as we can. And I'll grip him over here so he can kite a little more. Just gotta be careful gripping him through the mobs, because then they'll auto attack him on the way through. And that's not gonna help, obviously. We get Prideful right after this, and our mana's kind of low, so we will just fit in a drink, or we can use like, you know, the channeled mana potion if we really need to. But I'm confident that we're okay. And then we can start drinking like right here and just get a couple ticks of drink off before it interrupts us. So you just get an extra like 10% mana or so. And then we Radiance. I'll go ahead and paint up the tank because he's taking a lot of damage. Good thing I paint up him because he just got hit. And then we'll Radiance again. We'll Mindbender. We'll Mind Blast. Refresh our dot. Penance. And we're just going to Power Infuse the Monk on pull of the boss. Radiance now. I'm gonna wait to pop my trinket until we're actually over to the safe area, because this will always be the safe area wherever this ad spawns. So I'll pop my trinket now to heal through the infectious ring. Throw a couple shields out. And then we'll follow up with Radiance. So like we do this, and then we Radiance. Just to help with the overall healing. Especially if you're running like the Radiance conduit, it's so much better that way. Because then you're using Radiance to heal rather than just apply Atonement before. Because if you use Radiance to just apply Atonement before the infectious ring comes out, you're gonna have a real hard time healing it. Oh my god, they made it take so much longer before the next lap happens, it's actually insane. So here we're just doing damage, nothing's really gonna happen for a little bit. And then while we run over to the safe spot of the SAD, I can throw out a couple shields. Just shield the entire group. Throw a Shadowman on the tank to top him off, and then now we Radiance, like as the infectious rain is happening. And then we can just dispel ourselves. And then if we need to, we can Radiance again. And we'll Mind Game. Over here. Doing Radiance again, and I'll use Mindbender here because the boss isn't pushing yet. So it just kind of helps get a little bit of extra damage, and then we'll just attack one of the skeletons that come up. I guess it doesn't matter too much, but just throw dots out on these guys. And there's so much leeway now. It's actually insane. There's so much time. This is where I'll go ahead and Rapture here. It's Infectious Rain. I'm just gonna keep using shields over and over until Rapture's expired. And then we'll Radiance, we'll move out of the way. Pop Trinket, we'll pop Mind Games, we'll move out of the way. And that is it. Cool. That was a easy +2 on the Plaguefall 12.